This interview was originally recorded for the Steve Hatherly Show on TBS EFM. Well, a few weeks on the show, we had the pleasure of having Simon Le Bon and Roger Taylor from mega group Duran Duran. We knew at the time that we definitely wanted to have them back in some way, shape, or form in the future. We just didn't expect it to be this soon. This week for Music Speaks, once again, Simon Le Bon rejoins the program to discuss more about Duran Duran's new album, Future Past, and of course, much more. Simon, welcome back to the Steve Hatherly Show, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Steve. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So I guess we're just here to discuss the juicy gossip on Roger since he's not back this time, right?
Yes. Roger. I mean, he's the wild man of the band.
It's time
out until all hours. You never know what he's doing.
Time to spill the beans, right?
Yeah. His wife calling up, going, "Where is he? He's supposed to be back for dinner, but he's still out, and it's the morning." It's not quite true.
So Future Past,
100% true, but it's a wonderful idea.
Future Past has been out for a little bit now. October 22nd, I think, was the release date. So let's talk about the response. Tell us a little bit about how things have been going with the release so far.
Well, we've been working very hard. We've played some shows. We seem to be getting the album has been critically acclaimed now, and I think it's getting through to people. That's the most important thing, getting through to the audience, and radio seems to be our friend at the moment.
I guess that's the thing when you're an artist. Maybe you have something in mind, the way that it is going to be perceived by the general public once they get their ears on it, if you will. Yeah. From what you had in mind, if you did have any perhaps preconceived notions to what you have been hearing so far, are things lining up, or are you getting some surprises as well?
Well, yes. I mean, it's definitely surprises in a good way. You know, we've managed to succeed with chart position and playlisting probably a lot better than we did with the last album. So you're very careful not to put too many expectations in, because you know what they say, expectations are just resentments under construction. So we don't expect, and all we want to do is for people to hear the music, because that means that it gets into their heads. We know that it's a good album. We know, we've made enough of them to know when we've made a really good one, and this is one of them.
Does it get easier or does it get harder? This is studio album number 15, I believe, and we're talking 1981 was the release of the initial Duran Duran album. Does it get harder, or does it kind of, you just kind of go with the flow as the years go on?
That's not such an easy question to answer. It seems like an easy one, a yes or no, but it's not. Certain aspects, you go into the project thinking, oh my God, we haven't got it in us. We're never going to make the album. We're never going to do it. That's why I went in and suggested that we made an EP, a 5-track EP. But, 2 weeks in, and a pile of musical embryos 20 deep, Graham Coxon playing incredible guitar that raises the game of the band, and suddenly you're thinking, oh my, this is a good one. And all the way along, it's sort of, everything raises the game, everything raises the standard. So you complete one song and it's really good, and you think, we've got to bring everything else up to this level. So that in a way makes it harder, because you realize you set a standard. Whereas I think when you first start out, you don't really think in those terms at all. It's just, you've just got these songs and you lay them down. And of course, that's a very free way of doing it. Having said that, over the 40 years that we've been recording and writing music, we know what works and we know what doesn't work. And we're very, very quick to kind of recognize what's of the kind of quality and inspiration That's what you really want. Inspiration. You want to have inspired music, not stuff that's done because this is supposed to work or this is going to appeal to a certain audience. You've got to feel that thrill when you're actually on microphone. For me, when I'm on microphone coming up with a melody, if I don't feel that thrill, I know that in the back of my mind, I always know that song's not going to make it on the album. And it never does, you know.
I wonder if that's true for all artists. What do you think about that? Like when actors make a film or something, if they're not feeling that inspiration, do they know they're making a movie that maybe they won't be so proud of when they look back 30, 40 years later?
I think that people do. I think they do. But of course, the other aspect of that is you're never 100% sure either way. So you can maybe not feel the thrill, but it sort of happens as it goes along. I have to say, you know, a song like The Reflex, for me, it never really thrilled me until and I thought, honestly, actually, I thought it's catchy. I knew that it was catchy. But I didn't think it had, and it thrilled me in one way, but it didn't seem to have the quality that a hit would need. But it was only really when Nile Rodgers got hold of it and did what he did to it that they suddenly made me go, wow, that's great. So I think that probably happens with other artists in other fields as well. You know, a visual artist might be doing a painting thinking, oh, I'm going to jump off this quite soon, but ends up finishing it and stands back and goes, oh, that is different. You know, and the same probably with actors.
When we look at the numbers, or when you hear the numbers or read the numbers, the success that Duran Duran has had over the decades, I mean, 100 million records sold and 15 albums and 30 top 40 singles in the UK, 14 in the top 10, 21 singles in the Billboard Hot 100 in America. And then a long list of awards to go along with those accolades. When you hear those numbers now, after 40 years of making music with the group, what does it feel like to hear those numbers put that way in terms of that success?
It always amazes me. You said, you know, 100 million records. It beggars belief. And here I am living in a little house in Roehampton, southwest London. Where's my private yacht? Where's my private jet? Where's my child? Where's my jet? Where's my private island? No, but it's not about that. I think it quantifies it in a sort of way that it's sort of all of those numbers kind of they're just numbers. And it's when you talk to people and they say something like, you know, that song Ordinary World, it really made me feel a lot better. I was going through a really hard time, and that song helped me get through it. That is the thing that really matters.
You know, I remember I was very excited to speak with you today, and I was thinking back to when I was a kid, and my sisters are about 6, 7, 8 years older than me. So yeah, in the early 1980s, I was listening to whatever my sisters were listening to because they were in control of the music. And of course, Duran Duran was one of their favorites. And I remember Rio and the music video for that, and just watching it on MTV and just being, I mean, reflecting back on those days. Is it too far removed, or do you kind of sit back and go, man, that was a long time ago, but that was just phenomenal?
I've got a very, very sharp memory, and I can remember what it felt like for those songs to be out there, and the absolute sort of mayhem, hysteria, madness, that focus of attention that we had, the sound of it, the smell. When you walked in front of an audience, you could smell the pheromones and the hormones in the crowd. And you know, something that we've kind of been criticized for in the past, which was that, you know, we were followed by young girls, young females. That was our biggest audience when in those early 80s and mid 80s. And a lot of guys thought, oh, that's the audience that doesn't matter. They just like guys with nice asses and, you know, that sort of thing. But you know what? It turns out that audience is a really important. It's a really important demographic, and I'm very proud to have had that. And to stand up on stage and to hear that female energy, and to get that vibe is extraordinary. Actually, we've had amazing shows in Korea. Absolutely amazing ones. I remember we came over probably for the first time in about 87.
Is that right?
Yeah. So we waited a bit. We didn't come straight over. But the crowd was extraordinary. So that's when I first heard that people say that the Koreans are the Italians of Asia. Have you heard that?
Numerous times, yeah.
Well, if you ever,
too.
yeah, I mean, there's on many levels, on the passion, but also the kind of the willingness to kind of, for an audience to give themselves to the music, the style, Korean style is extraordinary. I mean, look at what Korean music is doing now around the world. It's in pop music, it's the world leader.
BTS is the biggest group in the world right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We talked about,
and that was Duran Duran 40 years ago, by the way.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? Yeah. So you talked about the humility. You live in a small house. You've never done the private island thing, and you've never done the private jet thing. And I read, you had talked about getting the opportunity to meet and work with Giorgio Moroder. And you were worried, like, well, with his level of success, you never know what kind of ego you're going to get. And I thought that was quite interesting, coming from someone like yourself, who's the biggest rock star in the world at a point. So you've made
but everything is sort of relative, isn't it? You sort of and also you've got to kind of have a clean mind when you go into work, when sort of no preconceptions, especially when you're going to meet somebody. You've got to take it at face value. Giorgio, we found out, is an incredibly workmanlike producer. He just gets on with it. He turns up in the studio with his little suitcase, opens it up, and there's a keyboard in there, plugs it in, and you start, and then you get that stuff starts happening. And then you just start, for me, I just started singing over the top of it. And he's going, yeah, that's good. We'll go with that. And the bass comes in. It was very inspired right from the start. We didn't waste any time at all. No faffing around. It was brilliant. There was one funny moment, very funny moment. I saw on the song Beautiful Lies, I'd gone and done this backing vocal, or sort of like a backing vocal demo, because I wanted it to be sung by a female. And I came out of the studio, and Giorgio's shaking his head, going, "No, Simon. No, we can't have that." He's German. He kind of sounds a bit like a German. He's Swiss, actually, Swiss Italian. No. I said, what's the problem? He goes, no, you're singing. It's a minor chord, and you're singing a major third over a minor chord. I said, Giorgio, this is Duran Duran. I've made a career out of singing a major third over a minor chord. He goes, not on one of my records. And I was about to go, but, and I thought, no, just hold that emotion. So I said, Giorgio, you're in charge, whatever you say. And that was really our ethic for the whole of that recording with him. And I think it really worked as well. I feel that we really got a Giorgio Moroder track with, Giorgio Moroder production of Duran Duran, not a Duran Duran track with Giorgio Moroder on it.
Interesting. Is that kind of the attitude that you had with the entire recording of the album? Because the collaborations that you have on this, I mean, the list is very eclectic and it's very impressive. You've got Mark Ronson on there, Tube Lewis on there. You had a Japanese group. I love the music video for the Joy track, by the way. Was that kind of the idea? Is, okay, this is Duran Duran, but we're inviting these people in to work with us. Let's kind of let them take the reins a little bit and see what happens? Or was it more of a conversation back and forth?
Well, it was definitely a bit of that. There's definitely a bit of that going on. But there's some of those collaborations, such as the Chai collaboration on More Joy, and the Ivorian Doll collaboration on Hammerhead were very much kind of, we wanted to find a certain sound. We wanted to find it. I've been doing my own radio show, by the way. It's called Whoosh. We're on Sirius XM in America. It's the digital platform. And in my musical odyssey, I've come across a lot of really great new acts, and one of them is Ivorian Doll, and another one is Chai. And I very much wanted to have those sounds on. So I talked to the guys about it. I said, let's try it out. And with Ivorian Doll, she came into the studio and it has this London rap, which is this female London rap, which is quite unique. I mean, there's a few of them, but nowhere else in the world do you get this kind of sound. The way they say their words is it's got such a London sound to it. And it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You know, she came in with her little team, and we got together, the four of us, and we wrote the whole rap between us, and she laid it down, and it was everything we wanted it to be. And then with Chai, I'd said Nick he'd requested he sort of Asian girls, Chinese school girls. I thought, oh God, Nick, really? How are you going to get China? I said, I have heard this amazing Japanese all-girl punk band called Chai, and I think they will be amazing. So I've got I'm part of a business in Tokyo. It's called Sin. And Sin organized this collaboration. So the girls came down from Nagoya, where they live, and they recorded in Tokyo, and it sounded brilliant. It was so good.
Wow. So do you think moving forward then, having your radio show and now your musical jukebox being opened up to a new world, is this something that you want to continue to do with Duran Duran in the future, is just find new cool acts that you didn't know about before and just do something together?
I definitely feel that it's that the opportunity is there. It's something that we haven't really looked at before. And I think the fact that we're trying out these collaborations really shows kind of the confidence in the band as we've kind of developed and grown up. It's not something that would have happened in the first 10 years of our existence. You know, I would have felt really uncomfortable sharing the microphone with another singer. The guys would have thought, oh no, we're diluting the personality of the band. But actually what you get people who, again, they raise the game, they raise the stakes, like Mike Garson on Falling, and of course Graham Coxon from Blur, who was with us writing from the very beginning of the record. When he started playing those quirky, weird, very original sounding guitar lines, everybody looked at each other and we thought, wow, we're going to have to come up to that standard. It was amazing.
What it kind of makes you feel like you're starting again for the very first time, I guess, in a sense.
Well, I think we do that every time we go into the studio. You know, the one thing, it probably started out of laziness, but nobody ever turns up at the beginning of a writing session with any ideas. We go in with nothing. And that way you are completely open to what happens in the room, and you get, and you're able to have this inspiration. You can work off from the inspiration, and it's become a bit more of it's not out of laziness now. That's just the way we like to do it, because that's the way we get the results that we want.
It's incredible, isn't it? You probably never saw this coming after the last record 6 years ago, or maybe this was something that you thought about at the time potentially happening, or
well, we knew that when we finished Paper Gods, I mean, we definitely wanted to go back and make another album, but the project took a long time. When you come to the end of a tour, that took a long time. We started working on Future Past in November of 2018, but we had to stop in the middle because of COVID. We took a year off the record and then got back together at the beginning of this year. And spent 4 months on it. So we spent 15 months before, and then 4 months after. And there was a distinct difference in the way that we were working. I can only describe it like this. before the pandemic, it was like we're making the album, heads were down, we're driving along at night with only the headlights of the car showing us the road ahead of us. And all you could see is that little bit of road ahead of you. Then the pandemic happened, and it was as if the day broke, because when we came back, we could see not only the road ahead of us, we could see all the countryside around us, and we could see where the road was going. And it made it so much easier to lay the tracks down when you knew that. And also, we did as much work in the 4 months after we got back as we'd done in the entire preceding 15 months before the pandemic. We had this incredible burst of energy and creativity, and we changed a lot of things. We changed tempos, we changed harmonic structures, we changed keys, we changed lyrics, we changed melodies, bass lines, drums, everything kind of got changed, and for the better. It was extraordinary.
So you're obviously very happy with this project. Are you going to sit back and enjoy it now for a while, or are the wheels already spinning on the next thing to work on?
Well, I want to tour it. We want to go out and play this to people. We want to get out on the road and play the songs, face to face. That's a big part of it for us. And that presents obviously some problems at the moment because of the pandemic. So we have to be, and you've got to be careful about when you put tickets on sale, because the worst thing you can do really is put tickets on sale and then have to refund the money when you decide to cancel the shows. So we're just being a little cautious on that one. I think really it has slowed down. The pandemic has slowed down the process significantly, but we're getting up there. People want to get together and listen to music, by the way. One of the things the pandemic did was it split people, it fragmented society, it made people go into their homes and communicate with each other by the phone screen and the computer screen. And you know how polarized people have become, and how that was kind of taken advantage of by politicians who found that they could get power from these extreme views that were kind of springing up everywhere. And I think people now feel this urge to get together and to come back together and to really kind of reintegrate as a culture. And music is really a fantastic vehicle for that. It's one of the best ones there is.
Yeah, probably.
We felt it very much. We've played some big festivals in the last couple of months. We played the Isle of Wight Festival. We played 2 Austin City Limits festivals, and the crowds there were incredible. Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
People are wanting now even more than ever to get out and go to these types of shows and be together and be with music more so than they ever have, but also probably with a greater appreciation that they've ever had before too, I would think.
I think so, because being sort of locked up inside your home for a whole year makes you really think about your life and what you love about being human, and music is a big part of that. Absolutely.
All right, Simon, you have time for some Christmas questions?
Yeah, go on.
All right, I've got 6. I'll let you choose one to 6.
I'll answer them all. Don't worry.
All right, perfect. Christmas traditions, family, or the band, or both? Off you go.
Well, now let's get this sorted. I got family. I'm in a big family now. We've got 12 people living in this place. That's myself, Yasmin, our 3 daughters, plus 2 grandchildren and 3 lodgers, 4 lodgers at the moment, actually. Family is really important for us at Christmas. However, there's always that time around New Year when there is the possibility of me going out and playing shows. There's nothing I love more than playing a show on New Year's Eve.
Oh, is that right?
I love to be working on I like to work when everybody else is having a holiday, when everybody else is playing. It feels the right thing to do if you're a performer.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Memorable Christmases, most memorable one ever, either from your childhood or from your adult years.
That's tricky because I've had some great ones. I mean, Christmases with children is amazing because they are so big-eyed about it. I'm really looking forward to this Christmas because my grandsons are going to be Well, they're 3 years old and 2 years old, so they're really going to get it this time. So I'm going to say the one that's coming up.
Oh, very nice. Seeing it through their eyes, kind of, I guess. Yeah. What is on Simon Le Bon's Christmas dinner plate?
Well, now in this country, we traditionally eat turkey,
Yeah,
roast potatoes, bread sauce, cranberry sauce, Brussels sprouts, and swede and and stuffing and sausages.
how did Brussels sprouts find their way onto your plate?
Oh God, I love Brussels sprouts. I'm a big fan. If you get it right, it doesn't sort of have the detrimental effect either. You just have to not eat too many of them. No, Brussels sprouts are great. They have that lovely bitterness to them, and the way that my wife does them, she sometimes does them with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, in the oven with Parmesan. It's rather nice.
Simon Le Bon's favorite Christmas song?
Well, it would have to be A Christmas Carol. There is a traditional English carol called the Coventry Carol, and it's a very sad. It's a sad one. It's about when all the children were kind of, Herod murdering all the little infants, and it's about looking after the infant Jesus. Really, that is beautiful. You might have heard it. It goes, "Lule, lule, fine little tiny child, my lule, lule," like that.
I have heard that before. I just didn't know what.
But there's the other kind of Christmas song, which is the rock stomper. And for me, as much as I love Greg Lake's what was it? I Believe in Father Christmas, and the one about the spaceman, and the Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Da, 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 da. The one I love more than anyone is "So Here It Is, Merry Christmas, everybody's having fun. Look to the future," and that is Slade. And well, what's it called? Here It Is, Merry Christmas.
I think that sounds right.
I think that is the right. It's funny. I know the song so well. I can't remember the title.
Simon Le Bon's favorite Christmas movie?
It's a toss up between. Actually, it's a toss up between Elf and It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, two very contrasting films.
Very different films, yes. I do also love the 1943 version of Miracle on 34th Street. That's amazing too. But I think the top two of those, and I can't choose one or the other.
And finally, what does Simon Le Bon want for Christmas this year?
I want security. I want security in that I want the world to help, I want the world to get vaccinated. I want the world to, not be living in fear of this terrible disease that's struck us all very badly. I want to see light at the end of the tunnel.
Any plans to get over here to play a show in Korea? Of course, it's very unpredictable at the moment. 1987 was the last time, I think you said. So
it was definitely, that was the first time. I don't know. I can't quite remember when the last time was. I have been back though, definitely. Let me see now. We are putting together a tour right now. We haven't really looked at what we call the Far Eastern leg yet, but it's an important place for us to come and play. So if we come to your corner of the world, I'm sure we'll be making a visit to Korea.
Oh, fantastic. Well, if you come here, then you have to come visit the studio and we can continue our chat at that time. Okay. Simon, tell us why we should go out and get Future Past. It's obvious to me, but for anyone who's been living under a rock, tell us why we should go by.
Future Past, one of Duran Duran's best ever records. Just listen to the passion and the love.
Simon Le Bon from Duran Duran. What a treat to speak with you on so many levels for me, because I grew up listening to you, and here I am now, decades later, a radio announcer in another part of the world, and had an opportunity to sit here and have a chat with one of my idols, my rock idols from when I was a kid. So for that, I thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Steve. It's been a real pleasure.
And happy holidays to you as well.
Yeah, I wish you all Merry Christmas and happy days.
And there it is, my chat with Duran Duran's Simon Le Bon. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. What an absolute treat for me to be able to sit and chat with one of the biggest rock stars in the world. Don't forget, hit subscribe, hit like, share it if you would be so kind, and leave a comment as well. And we'll see you back for the next interview.